Christy Smith is one of the Democrats who are running to fill Katie Hill's 25th seat in California. Katie Hill is obviously the congresswoman who was kind of forced to resign because of the, nude pictures that were released by her ex-husband, as well as I guess she had a, consensual relationship with one of her female staffers, and that's kind of a different discussion. Definitely don't think she should have been forced to resign because of that, but again, that's a different discussion. So Christy Smith is one of the Democrats running to fill that seat in California's 25th congressional district. Christy Smith is currently an assembly person in California state legislator or government, serving in the 38th district, which encompasses, I think, the Santa Clarita area of California, and she has garnered some pretty prominent endorsement so far. So the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, has endorsed Christy Smith, along with former presidential candidate and California Senator Kamala Harris, along with the other California Senator Dianne Feinstein, as well as California's Governor Gavin Newsom, the actress and sometimes kind of political commentator Alyssa Milano has also supported Christy Smith in this campaign. So this is, all well and good. These endorsements seem, very impressive, I guess, if you look at it on its face value. But to me, a huge red flag is that Nancy Pelosi supports Christy Smith. And, you could say a lot of things about Nancy Pelosi, but one of those things you can't say about her is that she's a progressive. So, if we have that in mind, the candidates that Nancy Pelosi endorses probably aren't going to, represent progressive, policies or ideologies, because, things like Medicare for All and a Green New Deal, Nancy Pelosi doesn't support. And what do you know? Christy Smith also isn't a, progressive, politician. Unfortunately, it would be awesome if she was, but she isn't. And I found this out by looking at her campaign website and looking under the priorities page. And the first kind of glaring example of her, not adopting a, progressive policy platform appears that she doesn't support free college. She talks about needing to make, college and trade schools and things like that more affordable for people. But really the only way that, we can make sure that that students, young people, or whoever, wants to further their education aren't being shackled with, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars of student debt is to treat college or going to college as a public good, as a common good, how we do through our K through 12 system. We just need to extend it, through college, because if we treat it like that as a universal, good, we will be able to, use our tax dollars from everybody to fund it. So, and then also by making it a universal program, it has a lot more, political clout and stamina, and it's not going to be on the chopping block as opposed to, kind of means tested program. So she doesn't support free college. So there's one strike against her. Christy Smith also, this might even be worse, or at least just as bad for sure. She doesn't support Medicare for All. She's another one of those neoliberal centrist Democrats that just wants to, make these small tweaks around the edges. And with regards to healthcare, she supports a public option, like other neoliberal Democrats running for president, Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, and unfortunately it seems like Elizabeth Warren's kind of trending towards that way. So Christy Smith supports a public option. So by not advocating for Medicare for all, a public option would create a two-tiered healthcare system where the healthy and the wealthy would have access to the private insurance for and private care, and obviously the wealthy can afford that, and then the healthy, if you don't get sick, you don't get hurt, you might be able to afford the, private insurance, and then everybody else would kind of be dumped off into the public system, basically, ensuring that the costs would be a lot higher because they're more likely to, have sickness or injuries or be in ill health, that type of thing. Also, it would, by advocating for a public option, if that was adopted, it would basically mean, Medicare for all is not going to happen for a long time after that. So even just the politics of it, if you really are concerned about people having access to high quality health care and not about protecting the bottom line of the health insurance companies and the pharmaceutical industries, then you would be advocating for Medicare for all because it ensures that it is actually healthcare is a human right, which is something that she talks about, which is like, okay, if you think healthcare is a human right, then everybody should get it automatically, not some stupid public option idea that's going to set back the fight for universal healthcare for who knows how many years or decades. And additionally, like, Medicare for all just makes so much sense. There's not going to be, as our current system is in the United States, 30 to 45 or 50,000 people die each year because they don't have access to health care on the richest country on the face of the earth that the world has ever known. That's just like sick and messed up and shouldn't be happening. Additionally, it's around 500,000 people go bankrupt each year because in large part due to medical bills. So by having Medicare for all, people they won't be dying because they have access to high quality health care that includes, mental health, dental, vision. It's very comprehensive. There's not going to be people eating up their life savings because they, have cancer or some other type of, long-term, illness or disability or, whatever it is. So additionally, if you want to take the kind of fiscal side of it, Medicare for all saves us so much money. The Medicare system, I believe the administrative costs to run that program are like 1% to 2%, like drastically much lower overhead or administration costs for Medicare as opposed to, private insurance, where the administrative costs are much higher, as well as, we're just padding the health insurance company executives and their board members so they can make millions of dollars a year while, health benefits are being denied to people, and then people are dying because they don't have access to it or going bankrupt because of these crazy deductibles and co-pays and premiums. So Christy Smith, if you're really concerned about healthcare as a human right, you would be advocating as such. So you're definitely not a progressive with regards to you advocating for a public option. No, the progressive policy is Medicare for all. You said that you believed, healthcare should be a human right. Then it should be for everybody and not to create this two-tiered system that's just going to, keep the private insurance companies in place that are, exploiting people's health and their illness to make money. So there's your second strike. And, this is why Cenk Uygur is running. He sees that, the the opponent in this case, Christy Smith, is not, in fact, a progressive. She's not advocating for free college. She's not advocating for Medicare for all, two things that Cenk would do, vigorously once, elected to Congress. That's why we need to, do everything that we can to make sure he gets elected, because we need as many strong progressive voices in Congress as possible who are going to fight up, or who are going to fight and stand up for the working people of this country and of the world to get these much needed policies and legislation passed. There's no reason that we should have people shackled to tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because they want to, go to school to further their education. There's no reason that we can't have Medicare for all in this country. It would save money. It would save lives. It would save, the taxpayers' money. It would save, everybody money. It just makes sense. So we need to support the, the progressive in this race, and that is Cenk Uygur. It is not Christy Smith. Those are just my thoughts, but I would love to hear yours in the comment sections below. Peace and much love.